wonderful, amazing crowd. We didn't expect so many of you, but we are really happy. So, what's up, Agile Austria? Are you having a good time so far? Wonderful. Welcome to the secrets of long-lasting and high-performing teams. I want to know, how many of you have worked in a really great team before? Wow, so many. Amazing. We believe that each and every one of you brings already so much knowledge on this topic today, and we want to build up on that. Okay? So in the next 4 minutes, I invite you to take a look around, find one partner, and discuss the following 2 questions. What was one of your greatest experiences being part of a team, and what made it so great? You have 2 minutes per person. Let's go.
Ich bin ein bisschen zu den erwachsenen Menschen. Jetzt mal, ich habe vergessen.
3 Minuten ist klar, das ist, oder? Ja, kannst ja.
Okay. Das ist cool zu sehen. Das ist so lächeln und denken Sie, what the fuck?
Es wird, wenn es leiser wird, wird es langsam, glaube ich, auch weiter.
Szene. Wir haben noch 4 Minuten. Wir haben noch mal 2 Minuten, 1 Minute.
Ah, jetzt.
Thank you. At this moment, we also want to say a huge thank you to the Agile Austria conference team for making this amazing conference happen. What incredible leaders they are. Amazing. My name is Oana. I am a freelance Scrum Master, Agile coach, and singer of the band Ardenites. And I want to tell you a story. Not this time, no. When I was about 7 years old, I was still living in Romania. I was coming home after a long day at school. It was a German-speaking school. And I returned home after the first grade, and it was a big, empty house. Both of my parents were working full-time to be able to put food on our table. So I came home, there was nobody to greet me, besides my small little dog, Mura, who was living in our backyard. I was quite sad, and I felt alone, and I didn't know what to do. So I decided to turn on the television. I found this channel, a German-speaking channel, RTL 2. Yes, exactly. And it aired anime, animated Japanese series the whole afternoon. And even though I didn't speak much German at the time, I completely inhaled those episodes as if they were the very element of life. They were filled with lessons about staying true to yourself, about going after your dreams, despite what everybody else is telling. Lessons about standing up for yourself, standing up for your friends, maybe even risk your life for those friends. And in that moment, I made a decision. I dedicated my life to build strong communities, to build long-lasting teams, so that nobody will have to feel alone ever again, so that we could build strong bonds between people and help each other reach our goals and dreams. And that is why I'm standing here today. That is my why. My name is Vivienne. I'm a Frankie, and do something great is my motto. And enabling organizational units to be great again is one of my great passions. I also have a history why this topic of long-lasting team is so important to me. I don't tell you the big story, just this. Often when I was younger, I didn't feel that I belonged, and I often thought something is wrong with me. Until I discovered in work life, for myself and also for teammates, what difference it can make if you feel belong and if you have the right tools you need. It can make a huge difference. It can unlock so many things and have a great influence on performance, on psychological health, and also on physical health. Of course. And that's why I'm here. And we also want to thank you, each and every one of you. You took money out of your pockets. You bought the ticket. You left your family behind. You took time out of your day, or your pets, or your friends. You took time out of your day and you traveled over here to spend this time with us. Thank you, and it means the world to us.
You shared a lot of aspects earlier in your discussion on what makes a high-performing team, we are sure. We also want to share with you our interpretation. For us, a high-performing team has 3 aspects. It's about strategy, oops, wrong direction, sorry. Culture and structure. When it comes to strategy, a high-performing team has a clear vision. It has goals it works towards too, and it knows its environment it is working in. In terms of culture, a high-performing team is a team where people feel appreciated and can rely on each other, and where people give feedback to each other on a regular basis. And in terms of structure, a high-performing team can manage itself because it knows its surrounding conditions. It has the tools and processes to help them work effectively, and roles and expectations are clear. But how can we build such high-performing teams, and how can it last? We will give you a sneak peek into our toolbox.
Thanks, Vivienne. So how many of you would like to look back in a couple of years and think that team that I had in 2023 was one of the best teams I ever had? Wonderful. Because Vivienne and I have worked with over 48 teams in the last 9 years. And in the next 25 minutes, we want to share our top 7 tools so that each and every one of you can build long-lasting, high-performing teams. Does that sound good? Perfect. And my first tool for you is to start a meeting with something true and positive. Attention, private things are explicitly encouraged. This roots in solution focus, and it will strengthen the psychological safety of your team, build trust among the team members. And it is also proven that starting the meetings, whichever meetings, in this way will result in more productive outcomes also. So let's try some examples. What is your name? Leonita. Roman, can you help us? Here it is. Here it is. Okay, Leonita, let's try it. So, dear Leonita, what is something that you are proud of?
I just finished writing my master thesis.
That's incredible. Okay, that's a huge one. Amazing. Good. Would you like to try?
Yes.
Great. What is your name?
My name is Frank, but I'm not in the same company as you are.
Okay.
Something that I am proud of.
I will ask you another question, Frank.
Another one.
Another one.
Okay, okay.
We want to give you different examples. Yes. So, dear Frank, what is something that you did really well this week?
This week, we had a good project kickoff for an important campaign, and we did a very good scoping.
Amazing. It's awesome. Yeah. Great. Let's do one more. Maybe, what is your name?
Cass. Trust me, they can hear me.
My name is Cass.
Cass? Is that
Yes.
Perfect. Lovely to meet you, Cass.
Lovely to meet you.
Okay, my question for you, dear Cass, what is something that you are looking forward to at the moment?
Oh, this is going to be me advertising, but I'm looking forward to doing my speech tomorrow.
That's amazing. Good. Thank you all for sharing. And Vivienne, do you want to share the next tool with our lovely audience?
Sure. Again, the wrong direction. I think I turn it. It makes no sense for me. My tool is doing a team boost workshop. When I become a new member of a team, in the beginning, working together was pretty messy. We had a lot of conflicts and we almost didn't finish our work at all. So we decided, after solving some of our base conflicts, to do a couple of workshops combined with a team event. And there we created a vision. We had a team logo we created. We defined a team name. We identified our strengths as individuals, but also as a team, and tried to find a way to use them strategically in our daily, in our workday. We implemented feedback sessions, talked about expectations about each other, and also designed some decision processes. It was a really hard time because it meant to work on ourselves, to work on each other. And in Switzerland, I'm living in Switzerland currently, we are always very nice to each other, but it meant that we be not so nice to each other. not rude, but saying the things very directly. And that was a pretty hard part. But the results after 2 months, we created a team where the workplace became a happy place, where people improved their skills, and we had a productivity increase by 100%. It's not a lie. We couldn't believe it ourselves, and we recalculated our burn down charts and looked at them, but it's true. What we did is we looked at a lot of team charters and the Agile charterings. Maybe you know them or some of them. And we used some things we've felt that are important to us and combined it with Clifton's strengths and liberating structures. And out of that, we totally invested about 3 working days in total, I think. And it's a big investment, but it really gave us the push we needed. And although we are not working together anymore, we are still in contact and supporting each other from time to time. So let's have a look what Oana is up to next.
Thank you, Vivienne. The next tool that I want to share with you is the Everything is Possible Day. Everything is Possible team event in this case. Most of us know that team event is a very important opportunity to weld teams together. So what makes this one so special? I'm going to tell you. So for this, for every Everything is Possible team event, one team member gets to decide what the whole group will do together. It should be something that that person is really passionate about or that they really want to try. And the only rule is that every team member keeps an open mind to at least try that activity, right? So keep an open mind, experiment with the passions of the team members, and who knows, maybe you'll be surprised you find a new passion yourself, right? So this is pretty awesome because it enables us to get to know our team members better and better, right? It enables finding common values and common passions, and maybe even develop the friendships, right? So let's ask a bit around, right? Who would like to share a passion with us? Would you like to share a passion? What can you give him?
My passion is snowboarding.
Snowboarding.
Yeah, that's
perfect.
why I also freeride professionally. So
Damn, amazing. So I think we could organize something like that. Yeah.
I would be interesting because most of my teams and colleagues are not into winter sports.
Mhm.
So the biggest thing I got them into was snowshoe hiking.
Okay, well, it's a good start. We can move slowly towards snowboarding. Good. Would you like to share a passion with us?
Yeah, sure. So my passion is hiking and being outdoors. So
Perfect. I mean, that's quite a perfect team event. Okay. Anybody else would like to share a passion?
My passion is complaining about the weather.
We could start a fan club for that. Yeah. Nice. Wonderful. Good. Then, Vivienne, we'll share with you a special story then.
Yes. Actually, do I need the microphone anymore? Because I have so much cables on me now that I'm confused. Thank you. Yeah. Integrate nonviolent communication. With the time, we got many and many more meetings remotely, especially after COVID. I think you might relate on that. And yeah, one day I asked in such a remote meeting, I asked a question to the team and everyone responded, but Pete. So I repeated my question and directed it to Pete. And then he said, "Oh, sorry, can you repeat it again?" And I was taking just a little bit of air and then I repeated it again. So now I had the choice. Either I let it slide, I swallow my anger, or I talk to him. Let's take the road to I do nothing.
Without saying something, the behavior of Pete came quite natural. Doing something on the side was a part of the culture. And with the time, everyone was doing it. Even myself, I recognized that I do 1 or 3 times. I searched something while we're having a meeting. And the result was when we discussed something, make decisions, agreed on action items, later the team either didn't notice that we decided on that, or they disagree later when we try to implement these action items. So that's a real situation that happened with a team. Now let's go back and let's see what happened if I talk to Pete. So I call him after the meeting directly, and I addressed his behavior, what I observed, how that made me feel. And I asked him why he wasn't listening. And he asked me then, do you really want the true answer? And I said, yeah, nothing else but the truth. And he told me, the meeting is so boring and I don't have any value out of it. Then I asked him, how would it look like if the meeting would gain his attention? And he could name a few things, and we identified some improvements out of it. And the next week, he presented them to the team. They decided to implement these improvements. And with time, people were paying, all the team were paying more and more attention, and the others starting making suggestions too. And at the end, we had meetings with a high return on investment. That's also a true situation, but with a different Pete, of course. Yeah. When I addressed the behavior to Pete, I used the nonviolent communication, and it helped me address it in a way he wasn't offended. Because myself, I'm a soft feedback giver, always a little bit around the corner because I don't want to hurt the people, but it helped me address it, feel comfortable myself, and it helped me also to find out why I was upset about his behavior. And with this, we gained different perspectives and improved for us our way working together. Nonviolent communication was developed by the clinical psychologist Marshall Rosenberg in the 1960s and 1970s. And addressing this feedback is a four-step process. It consists of observation, feeling, need, and request. Let's have a look at the next tool.
Thank you, Vivienne. I wonder, who here has heard of the 5 love languages? Okay, quite a few. I'm happy to see that. So let's make a quick enumeration. Just, say one. Like, can you say one?
Buying.
The gifts. Yes, gifts are present. Yes. Yes.
Physical affection.
Physical touch. Exactly. That's a great one. Okay, we need 3 more. Anybody else? Any ideas?
There was a wording for
nice words.
Yeah.
The words. Let me check. Words of affirmation. Yes. Okay. 2 more. What could they be? Yes. Yes, quality time. Perfect. Okay, last one.
The last one is service, isn't it? It's some sort of service.
Yes, exactly. That's right. The last one is acts of service. So we have quality time, gifts, a present, words of affirmation, physical touch, and acts of service. 5. Yes, and what a surprise. Our love languages are also our love languages with our relationships at the workplace, right? So it makes a lot of sense to dive a bit into it, figure out maybe what are your love languages. It is normally like that we have 2 main love languages. So if you reflect a bit on yourself, you will definitely figure out your main 2. For me, it's, for example, words of affirmation and physical touch. That's why I love to give high fives. Yes, love it. Okay, so the important thing is, it's not important that you have the same love languages with your colleagues, not even with your partner, okay, but that's another talk. So It's just important that you know your 2 love languages and you are able to communicate them to your team members. And then, of course, also learn about their ways in which they appreciate your appreciation, right? So that you can speak to them in their love language, right? So Vivienne told me, for example, that her love language is acts of service. And that means when I have the chance, I will also grab a coffee for her when I get a coffee for me, okay? Just to show her that I appreciate her. So this was a game changer for me. Definitely try it and watch your work relationships improve, okay? Vivienne, you got one more tool for our friends here.
Yes. Yeah. Use solution-focused questions in meetings. A few years ago, I worked as a Scrum Master in a software development Scrum team. And they were doing bug fixes almost that for months. And of course, with this kind of work, I don't know if someone of you has done it for a couple of weeks, it gets really frustrating. And our retrospectives were a lot about complaining, endless discussions, especially led by one person. Let's call her Anne. So when we get out of these meetings, is your name Anne? No, because you're okay. I think you were laughing. I'm sorry. Not anyone in the room. Huh? No, okay. Let's see. At the end of the meetings, everyone was frustrated. There was a lot of negativity, and for me as a Scrum Master, I don't have any energy left for them. Sometimes I needed to go outside to make a break. And then once I discovered solution-focused therapy and the question that came with it. And I thought I will give it a try. I started in my retrospective. I opened it with something positive, like Oana did before. I asked them, look back at the last sprint and think about all the things you accomplished, even just the little things. What are you proud of? The team was pretty quiet, but very quickly Anne said, I fixed 10 bugs. Yeah. And then with the time, the team could also think about some things. And maybe it was just, I managed to come to work today. Also, okay, it's okay, it's a start. Yeah. Even you were so frustrated, you managed to stand up and go working. That's a good thing.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one, yeah, right. And afterwards, they should list all the problems we had as a team. But instead of discussing those problems, I let them think about if the problems were solved, what would be different? How would it look like if the problem was gone? And that's the moment when Anne became more and more quiet, but the others get more active in the discussion. And we had really interesting discussions. And for the first time, we managed to make some action items, improvements that the team by themselves could do. So after this meeting, I decided to use this kind of questions whenever I saw the chance. And really quickly, the whole atmosphere of the team changed. Yeah, we were making some small improvements, but they started to really appreciate to come to work again. And we get a higher time of investment out of our meeting. And for me, I had some energy left to go grab coffee after the meetings with them. Yeah. So solution-focused questions come from solution-focused therapy. And unlike regular psychotherapy, they focus on the current circumstances and better hopes. It was developed by Steve DeShazer and Inso Kim Berg in the 1970s and the 1980s. And now I think we have one more tip left. Let's find. Sorry. Yeah, I forgot this part. Anne was becoming calmer, but really more satisfied, and I didn't expect it. Because in the beginning, when she was trying to say what was bad, and I asked her then, okay, thank you for telling us, us, but what do you want instead? And then she became more and more quiet, and only the really important things came up. And for the team, it was also great because they could be more active, appreciate the discussions, and they get happier too. It was really great for everyone. Thank you for asking.
Forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Then we have our last tip for you today, which you probably heard 100 times: celebrate mistakes. But the thing is, everybody tells us that, and they don't really show us how it's done, right? Like, we've all been growing up in a society and maybe a familiar circle filled with blame, if you grew up like me. And maybe there were even punishments for making mistakes. So no wonder we need to unlearn this now as adults. And as a matter of fact, there's very many workplaces where the people are still afraid to experiment and make mistakes because of this very reason, right? So this needs to be modeled, trust needs to be built, and then we can start feeling more at ease and confident to experiment more. But I have to tell you, the best teams that I have ever worked with were willing to make mistakes. They were courageous and tried new things. And without courage, there is no innovation and there is no excitement and fun, maybe even at work. But enough talk. Let's try it ourselves. Let's try to model it. So is there anybody here courageous enough to share a mistake and a learning with us? Yes.
I have no more mic.
At the beginning, when I started at my workplace, I sometimes didn't really know how to handle a specific software, and I just wasn't like sure if I could ask or who could I ask, and I was like, I should have known it before, and I just tried myself, and eventually just deleted the whole day of work. And it was the last time I just didn't ask, because even if people in the past told me, you should have known that by now, my current team is always like, doesn't matter if you ask like multiple times, it's maybe been a while, and it's important that you just ask again, because it's better to ask for the 12th time instead of losing a whole day of work, and also like the frustration that comes with it. And yeah.
For sure. Wow, fantastic story. A big round of applause for Yasmin. Amazing. Anybody else is so courageous to share a mistake? Oh, yes, please. A mistake in a learning, of course.
I forgot to test the thing the software I was working on before sending it to testing, and we had a whole round trip, and I learned to try what I just programmed for sending it off.
And the learning?
The learning was that I try what I just programmed before I'm sending it to the testing.
A big round of applause. Amazing. A last one we can do. I think we still have enough time. Maybe somebody from. Oh, yeah. Okay, let's go.
Hi. I have read a personal one. So about 10 years ago, I was almost in a relationship, but yeah. So why I wasn't in a relationship? Because I didn't commit, because I went to the US to do my master thesis. Then she broke up. I was devastated, like really. 5 years later, I met my partner in Spain. Same situation. I was about to travel the world, but I learned that if there's something I really would like, I commit to it. And we made it happen to like form this relationship, even though I was traveling the world. She joined me for a month, and we got married about 3 weeks ago. So
That's simply fantastic. I got goosebumps. Great. So it's important that we start modeling the courage to make mistakes and learn from them ourselves, right? And then it's going to be contagious at some point. So yeah. Vivienne, back to you.
Thank you. Yeah, we want to thank you for coming today and listen to us. We know we couldn't really dive deep into it, but we have some template, for example, for solution-focused retrospective, or some reading material. If you want it, we share it with you for free. Just write us something that we can mail. Really, it's no strings attached, I promise. No strings attached. It's just that it's, for example, a mirror board, and it's hard to share it that way. But if you or leave us the card afterwards, and we will send it to you. Yeah, and we are also interested in your experience. Maybe you know already some of the tools and made different ones. So if you like to discuss in the breaks or in the HR Mingle tonight, we're happy to share. And we appreciate all criticism, critical questions and challenges you gave us. Yeah, so thank you very much. And if you have any questions, I think we have still some time.
I think so too. So questions are up to us now.
Questions. But I would like to know who's Frank, and as a follow-up question is, how did you guys mesh up for that meeting? Because you look kind of different with different backgrounds, different current stories, except for the job title, you don't share a lot. So that would be quite interesting.
Sure. Yeah, who's Frank is the title of the company I'm working in. And it stays the secret who is Frank. There's no Frank in the company. No, it's a word play out of to be frank, the term to be frank, which was really important to the founder. And in Switzerland, it's not allowed to have a question mark on the title of the company. So that's why there's no question mark. Yeah.
And how we met?
Yeah, how we met. Do you like to tell it?
Yeah, I love it. So we met at the solution-focused training, leading and coaching agile teams. It was by Sinnvoll Führen in Vienna. And yeah, I'm so thankful we met. We immediately hit it off and we said, let's have a talk together. Let's do a talk together. Yeah. And this is our first talk together.
Yeah. We tried to apply last year to several conferences and Austria took us. So thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Okay. Then we invite you for 2 last questions if you want. While you're leaving or still staying in the room as you wish, pair up and talk about the takeaway you have. I hope you have one. If not, we're so sorry, but yeah. And maybe what did you try in your team, or do you like to try something in your team? You just heard about it. No? So, but it's an invitation. You decide if you take it or not. And yeah, thank you so much. And maybe we see you tonight.